For the third year and counting, Richard Skipper has been celebrating the artists you love. Richard Skipper is all about celebrating life, art, and his guest body of work. Please join us while he showcases these diverse and talented individuals. Here's Richard Skipper.
Well, look how fuzzy I am. What's going on here? Mercury is in retrograde tonight, everyone. So I'm going to fix this up for just a moment. I am so excited. All I have to do is hit this button right here, and this should clear me up. There I am. I am fuzzy, but I hope the rest of you aren't. Happy hump day, everyone. I am so excited about tonight's guest. But before I bring her on, I'd like to thank our sponsors, first of all. And tonight, I'd like to give a special shout out to our sponsor of the day, and that's Deb Stone. Deb Stone has a show coming up at the Laurie Beechman Theater here in New York City on October 9th. So if you're going to be in New York, please join me as I will be there to celebrate her. And for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. My show is all about celebrating life, celebrating art, celebrating artists. And I believe that there's something to celebrate each and every day if we take the time to do so. And I am so excited about tonight's show because I get to celebrate. I am just getting to know a lot about Darcy Donavan. And Darcy, when Roger Neal reached out to me and asked me to do the show, I was excited because I was familiar with you, but delving into your life, you have not been on this planet that long, but my God, what you have accomplished in your short lifetime already would put so many people to shame. So congratulations. First of all, we're going to talk about what you've accomplished, what you're doing now, and what's looking ahead for you. But as I do with every show, I want to ask who or what are you celebrating today?
Ooh, what am I celebrating today? I would say my animals today, my dogs. They're awesome. I'm celebrating that I'm feeling really great today. The energy's good. You're saying it's in Mercury retrograde, so I don't know, Richard. We might be screwed.
Well,
changing tonight.
There are 6 planets going backwards tonight. As you saw when we started, everything was fuzzy here, so anything can and will happen. But we're going to go along for the ride, so anything can happen. One thing that I love about you already is that great Southern accent. I'm a Southern boy. I grew up in South Carolina, and I know that you were born in Miami, Florida, but you grew up in Tennessee. So how did that move happen for you and your family?
Well, my parents, they got married young. They had me when they were young. My dad was going to go professional baseball player. So, their pro training camp was in Miami, Florida. So my mom was pregnant with me at the time. That's probably why I like the heat so much because, their air conditioning broke, and it's like everybody's air conditioning was broke because it was like it had horrible heat, she was telling me. And I was like probably in there cooking like a hot potato because I love the heat. People call me Fräulein Fahrenheit because they're like, how do you endure such hot? Like I literally can put my hand in scalding water and I'm just like, that feels good. And they're like, you're crazy. And I'm like, I don't know. It's probably because I was born. But my mom and, dad divorced when I was 2. And my family lived in Tennessee, her family, my dad's family. So, they eventually moved back and, so I've been a Nashville girl, Southern girl at heart. Those are my roots. That's where I'm from. That's where my heart is. So, I mean,
and you've never gotten rid of that. Thank God.
Well, thank you. People tell me, they're like, you're like the Dolly Parton of pop. I said, hey, that's good. I'll take it. The Dolly Parton of Hollywood. I'll deal with it.
Have you ever met?
Oh, yes, I have briefly. And I tell you what, she is an amazing woman. I would say I don't really get starstruck. I've worked with some of the biggest names and I just don't. I don't know. I made a fool out of myself when I was 16. There was a famous person I met and I was just like, ah. And ever since then, I remember I just kicked myself for 2 weeks going, why could I not talk? So
who was that person?
It was the Nelsons. It was Gunnar Nelson and Matthew Nelson. I had a huge crush on them when I was a kid, and I met him, and I was like, ooh. So
I'll tell you a funny story about Dolly. Years ago, she put out a CD. You may remember where she did all covers of 60s songs, which was unusual for her because she always writes her own material. So I went to this record signing, and I was so excited to meet her. And I asked her to sign it to me. My husband's name is Dan. And I asked her to sign it to me and Dan. And she said, well, where is he? And I says, he's working so that I could be here. She said, put him on the phone. And she got on the phone to say hello to him.
Yeah, I could see her doing that.
Yes.
And I mean, that's what I love about her. I mean, and that's kind of what I try to, do with everything, or any fans that meet me, because, I'm not going to mention his name, so don't try to get it out of me, Richard. Everybody tries, but I had a huge crush on, someone when I was growing up. I mean, I had his posters, I watched all his movies, and I ended up working with this person, and it was just, I was like, oh my God, this is the person that I grew up just, loving to death. My mom even knew who it was. And it was just not good. It was, all my dreams were shattered. After that, I was like, it just it kind of kicks your childhood. They say sometimes I've heard people say, you don't want to meet your heroes. And I'm like, why? You want to meet your heroes. And then after that, I was like, oh, that sucks. I'm not ever going to do that. So when people meet me for the first time, my fans, I go above and beyond. I mean, it's literally like ridiculous. It's like you're at the Beverly Hills Hotel. I mean, I go above and beyond. My assistant's like, okay, we got to go. We're going to be late for, your media interview. And I'm like, oh, one more picture. Oh, I got something for him. Oh, let me, so, I feel like it's not only bad, is in terms of, you being a person, but if you are in, a space where people look up to you, you do have, to me, it's sort of an obligation. And it just really, it devastated me. And, I told a couple of my other friends, and I even told, some of my A-list friends about it. And I didn't tell them who it was, because I'm just not like that. But they were like, oh my God, I met so-and-so. She was my idol. Yeah, it was terrible. Oh, it was, and I was like, oh my God, this is like a reoccurring thing. And I'm like, it's got to stop.
Well, I have a theory about that, because first of all, I believe that people are who they are. And you are, I mean, when I see you here, I mean, you and I are meeting for the first time tonight. Are you this person off camera as well?
Pretty much. I mean, when I say pretty much, I'm pretty silly, like I get silly. Now in business, there's two sides of me. I'm always, I'm a pit bull when I need to be, but I'm very, very nice. My dad, I get that from my dad, I know, because he's a very jolly guy. I'm just, I like to have fun and stuff, but, I also know how to put the hammer down. And my dad's the same way. I mean, people just love him. He's a jolly, funny guy all the time. But, like when my dad's not ever, laid a hand on me, spanked on me, but it's like, I think maybe twice in my life, he's raised his voice, and it's like God coming down from the heavens. It's like, Darcy D, it's like thunder clapping, and there's like, a ray of terror, and there's like all these shooting, like, I don't know, fire and brimstone coming out. And I mean, I'm just terrified. So I think people said that I'm kind of the same way when I get mad. But if somebody's like being disrespectful, I'm all for justice. So, I'm not a pushover at all, but at the same time, I always believe in being respectful, having integrity, being honest.
You said the magic word. I can't believe that you said that, because that is my word of the day, integrity.
Are you kidding?
No, there it is. I brought it up because that is the word of the day. And I'm actually going to give away your CD. Everyone can respond. Distraction by Darcy Donavan. So why, let's first of all go there. I love the fact that you said the word integrity. It's like there was a show long before you were born, even before I was born, called You Bet Your Life. And there was a magic word. And if you said the word, a duck would come out of the ceiling. It was Groucho Marx. And so if that was that show, a duck would just come out of the ceiling. Integrity is the word of the night. So
that's cool.
You said integrity. what does integrity mean to you, both in your personal life and in your professional life?
Well, I would say integrity is all about, to me, it's character. It's about who you are as an individual, about honesty, about, respect. You can't, I always tell everybody on my team, I mean, I've had people with me for 2 decades, worked with me from the ground up, and they're with me now through all my successes. So, the one thing I believe is, whoever you take to the dance, they need to leave with you. I've met a lot of, unfortunately, I've met a lot of, billionaires and people in the business, and then, they don't take care of their team, or they get big heads and they leave the people that were there with them from the beginning. My grandfather always said there's no luggage racks in a hearse, so you can't take that with you. And, I had somebody said, there's a partnership that I'm thinking about, partnering up with. They're a really good company. And, hearing the CEO's background, I was like, you and I are a lot alike. And he says, well, I said, have you thought about film, and you thought about music, and, doing all this stuff? And he's like, well, I do more of this, brand integration. I've done this and this, worked with the top companies. And I told him, I said, I could teach you anything. I said, some people on my team, they're now doing huge, huge projects. But at the same time, I mean, they started out not knowing even how to do Photoshop. So, or video. So I can teach anybody anything, but I cannot teach them integrity. I can't teach them, being respectful or honesty. And to me, that will take a company down. And that's what I told the CEO. I said, listen, I'm going to get back to you. I said, but, I can teach you anything, but I can't teach you, I can't teach you to be honest. So, he's had some rough patches like I have. I mean, it's part of business, but you grow. And, I'm sure, Richard, as being in the business, and I'm sure as your husband knows too, there's people that you're going to deal with, and they're not good people, but it does get around. And I do believe in karma. So, karma is a big deal. So, it will come back. It will. I mean, I try to tell everybody, I said, don't go for the quick buck. Don't screw people over for that quick buck, because, it's going to come back on you. It will, and
where do you think that you, first of all, learned about integrity in this business? Or do you think it's something that was instilled at you at a very early age? I know that you started performing at an early age. As a matter of fact, and I love this photograph that I have of you, you were performing in hospital. Look at you. You were performing in children's hospitals at a very early age. How did that begin for you?
Well, my great grandmother, she was ill at the time, and, I would do like I honestly, I think you're born with it. I've just got to say, I mean, there's people that, like have never had lessons and are doing Beethoven and Mozart. So I do believe God gives you a talent. I feel like everybody's born with it, but it's up to you to cultivate that talent, So, I mean, when I got out, I mean, I've got pictures. My mom says, they would dress me up and stuff. I mean, they're young parents, they put wigs on me, and they said that I would get up on the fireplace and I'd grab a microphone. I was watching TV a lot. So, I was doing things that normal kids weren't doing. And, my mom told me of an incident where I guess she was carpool mom of the day, and I was in first grade, and I guess all the kids got to go to, like, we went to a museum, she said, and then after that we got candy, got to go to a candy store. So everybody got, money for candy, because I guess I don't know, they had a candy drive, and all the kids were part of it. Yeah, this was a long time ago, so I kind of forgot. But she said instead of getting candy, there was a homeless man that was up near the right near kind of the candy store. He was sitting there with his cup, and she said he was this little old African American black guy, just sitting there, and she said I went over to him and took my money and gave it to him. Wow. And put it in his cup. And she said, she was so proud of me, and she goes, I don't know where you got that. So I don't know. I just, my grandparents were amazing people. they were very, faith-based. I'm a very big spiritual person. That's my big thing. I mean, everybody has, I have friends that are Buddhists. I have friends that are atheists. I have friends that are Mormon. I have friends that are, my mom's a strict Catholic. My dad's a strict Baptist. That's maybe why they divorced. I don't know. But it's like, my grandfather was respected by everyone. I mean, everybody loved him. And, he was just a spiritual person. And that's kind of how I am. I mean, I respect everybody's, religion, so to be, as long as, it's of love, peace, kind, being good to other people. I don't believe in judging anybody. I don't, based on, their race, their sexuality, based on what they, believe in. As long as it's, you're being a good person, you're trying to help people at the end of the day. But, I have seen miracles. So I'm a big believer in God and the angels, and that's my thing. But, I'm not like, hey, I'm, First Presbyterian or this or that. I've seen things, and I, want to go out and do things for other people. And, I think because of the influence of I will say my grandparents, because my parents were really young. So I think it was really my grandparents that kind of molded that to me, because my grandmother was just this on my dad's side. I mean, oh God, she was like Betty White, just sweet and just, hi, Darcy, just every time you saw her, she was just always happy. I've never heard her say an ill word. I've never heard her cuss. I've never heard her say anything negative ever. Same thing with my dad. So it's just, it's just kind of a different thing. I mean, I got the best of both worlds. My grandfather was very cool. He looked a lot like James Earl Jones, if you know who James Earl Jones is.
Oh, yes, of course.
He could have been a dead ringer, even the voice. But I mean, James Earl Jones has this presence about him, and that's how my grandfather was. And my grandmother was German, full-blooded German, spunky and spicy, and let me tell you, she could scare. I don't care if Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal came in and said, they were going to hit her over the head. She would scare them off. They're huge guys. They're tall. They're big. She would be like, I mean, she's just a feisty woman. She could scare anybody, and when I was a kid, I used to respect that about her because she was so feisty, and, she was funny. She was naive, but my grandmother was so honest. And and that's what I respect about her. But sometimes she was too honest. She's like, Darcy, look at your hair. What is up with your makeup, Darcy? Or, my mom, she'd be like, Margie, your hair looks like a witch, and my mom would start, my mom was very weak in that way. I love my mother, but she's just, she was she could have done modeling. She was approached by modeling scouts. There's a lot of things my mom could have done, but I just think she was too, she had too much of a thin skin is what I'll call it. And I mean, I hate to say it, she's very weak. I love her, but she knows. I tell people to their face, just, you have to have, in this business, you have to be like a warrior. You have to have almost like a shell, like an armor skin all over you, and you can't let stuff get to you. And, that's just something my mom couldn't do. And, my grandmother would say stuff all the time. And, Darcy, why do you do this? You cannot do this. And I just shoved it up her butt. I'm like, yeah, I will, Grandma. Yeah, I will. and that's, I think, what has been so great, because people go, why are you such an overachiever? But I think it's because in my head, my grandmother's just like, no, you can't do it. And so I was always like, oh, yeah. So then it got to the point, I'm going to show you. So then I did. And then my grandmother just shut up. She was just like, okay, she got it, and I love her. I mean, my grandmother, she took me to, cheerleading practice. I mean, there was a point where my mother remarried and she was in a violent relationship, and we had to get away, and my mom went into hiding, and I was shipped off to my grandparents, and, it was a really rough time. And the thing is having my grandparents, I think it was the best thing. It was the best thing God ever did, because I got to see what a normal family relationship was. And I got to, grow up and have that, I don't know, that stability. And from there, it just grew, So, I mean, I really say my grandfather, and my dad, I mean, I love them both. I mean, but I love my grandmothers too. I mean, it's just all of it. I would really say though, my grandparents helped mold me. They were just, hands-on, I was the first grandchild. So,
Same here. I'm the oldest grandchild on my mom's side of the family. So, I mean, and I was molded by my grandparents on my dad's side of the family. So
Oh,
I
nice.
spent all my summers with them. And, being a Southerner myself, I know exactly what you're talking about. But I know that you were performing, as I mentioned earlier, in children's hospitals. And as you were growing older, there comes a moment in every artist's life where the light bulb goes off, and it's more than just a hobby and the fun of it. When did it change for you where you said, this is definitely the path that I'm going to be on, and I'm going to make this my life's work? When did that happen for you?
Wow. Yeah, because I mean, I did commercials. I enjoyed doing things like that. I really wished I wanted to have a what do you call them, a tiger mother, stage mom. My mother wasn't like that. I was kind of, pushing my mom, going, I want to do this, I want to do that. But what really hit was when I was a teenager. I was about 13, 14. My mother at the time, she was working in human resources at a very, very, very nice hotel, actually in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach. So
That's where I'm from.
Oh my God, that is serendipitous. Oh my God, Richard, we're like twin souls, like twin spirits.
Yes,
So,
I'm from Conway.
Oh my God,
yeah.
I get chills. But yeah, so I was there, and
And
I was.
Callahan, who is watching the show right now, lives in Myrtle Beach now. So Myrtle Beach is
Oh my
in the
God,
house. Yes,
that was the best summer I ever had. Oh my God, I was there all summer. It was the best summer I ever had. So my mother was there. And, I ended up, I mean, you got to think, I'm a teenager. I had a blast. I mean, I got in, she's working at a resort hotel. So I get everything free. I go walk around. I'm working out. I'm doing all this fun stuff while she's at work. So I ended up getting to know where I knew the entire staff. I knew everybody. I knew the people at the bars. I mean, because they had it was a resort place. And then they had where, people would go down from the hotel. And then they had this gorgeous area for, you to sit near the pool. And then you go down and you would go into there was the ocean. So right next to it, they had a restaurant, and it had live bands would be there, but it was outside, and it was kind of like Hawaiian style, kind of tiki, hut looking kind of thing. And it was really cool. And so one day, I don't know what happened. The singer that they had, he didn't show up, or something happened. And they said, hey, does Darcy, would Darcy want to, because I knew them all. And my mom said, yeah, she's a singer, she's done acting, but, she's been singing a lot. So they go, come on up. So I did. I got up, crowd went nuts. It was like rock and roll stuff I sang some Van Halen stuff. Let's see, White Snake. They had, there was some oldies songs like Pat Benatar. There was just, I listened to a bunch of stuff that my mom was listening to. So it was kind of like, I got up, did it. And there was a song by Autograph. It was an old song called Turn Up the Radio. And they said, hey, do you know this? And I said, yes. And I mean, just from there, next thing you know, it was like, people were like, yay, and then they started asking for me. They're like, hey, that young girl, can you get her up? So I started singing more and more. And then I go, when I get back, from vacation with my mother, I said, I am going to start my own band. And that's just kind of where I got the bug. I'm like, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. It was just insane. And so I did it, got a band together. We ended up hitting some festivals. We won these festivals. I went to Battle of the Bands in Memphis. We beat out thousands and thousands of bands. And, then you had to go to the next round. And that was just tens of thousands. It was huge. And we got in the top 10. of that. And so it was amazing. And that's kind of how it started. You know, the music then kind of correlated into, you know, acting. I mean, you know, I got a commercial, beat out like 500 kids for this, you know, this commercial that I was in. And because all my friends at school were like, oh, let's audition for this thing. And it was at school. They were looking for kids. So I did that. And so I just kind of got the bug at that point. And it just kind of
also Miss Tennessee.
Yep.
You know,
pageants.
so,
yeah.
And the pageants. Get that, you know, so how did you end up were you doing the pageant circuit, or was that just, you know, one isolated incident there?
I was doing several like in Nashville, I started doing several pageants here and there, and I was winning things, you know, it was like smaller stuff, you know, like festivals. And then, you know, it's like, oh, you get Queen of the Mall, you get this and that, you know how you hear people doing it. And so, you know, I made my own dresses. I did my own, you know, I mean, I got my own sponsorships. I mean, I was a hustler, you know, and a lot of these kids, you know, when I look back, I'm like, damn, man, you know, I really had it rough. I mean, you know, their parents would show up and buy them like, you know, $3,000 and $4,000 dresses. And, you know, they basically got everything handed to them. And, you know, sometimes I just felt like, you know, I think that's what always drove me, is because I knew I was kind of the underdog, you know, single parent, you know, she wasn't like a stage mom. She didn't push it. So it's like, I wanted that, you know, and, you know, sometimes I'd get sad because I'd see these kids and, you know, they have their parents and then they have those like faces, you know, of the kids, and they do all that, you know, and I had to get my friends. I had to call my family. I had to hype myself up. So I think when you've had nothing really given to you and you've had to hustle at such a young age, I think that's why, you know, people look at my resume, because I just don't feel like it's enough. You know, I feel like I still look at what I've done and I'm like, I haven't done enough. It's not what, you know, I don't know. I need to go to therapy, Richard.
We'll go together.
We'll go together. There you go. You and I both will hold hands.
But when I look at your accomplishments, I mean, you've done so much. Do you feel that you still have to prove yourself?
Yes, I do.
And why do you feel that is?
I not reached a level of success that in my mind I want, but see, you know, I've had other people tell me, God, Darcy, you know, when is that in your brain? And I honestly think, you know, because I've got investments and things that I'm doing in, you know, crypto.
Anchorman, Modern Family, Parks and Recreation, Bones, 6 Feet Under, Entourage, Cult, All My Children, My Name is Earl. The list just goes on and on and on. How did the move to California happen for you? And when you got to California, did it take you long to get an agent and a manager, or were you manifesting these on your own as well?
Well, now this is what's funny. You know, I was doing music and everything. This is how it kind of correlates. It's an interesting story. So, you know, I was doing music. I entered a beauty pageant, and from the beauty pageant, I ended up, you know, winning. It was like, you know, it was. They had Miss Nashville, Tennessee, but then they had also other, you know, pageants that were going on, and from that, I ended up winning I won a prize. So part of the prize was, you know how you get when you win Miss Nashville, Tennessee, they're like, hey, you get this, or you'll get a car, or you'll get this for a year. So I ended up getting get a huge, you know, acting coach from LA who's gonna, you know, blah blah blah. He's gonna tutor you, or, you know, on your own. And, you know, they made a big, huge deal out of it. So I met him, and his name was Alan Dysart. Alan's been in a lot of stuff. He's, you know, was one of the leads on All My Children for many, many years. He's done a lot of things. And I went to him, and he says, hey, you know, tell me a little about yourself. So I was telling him all the stuff I was doing in music and this and that. He said, you know, what about the acting? I said, yeah, I've done acting. And I've done this and I've done that, but, you know, and I said, I've done some national commercials. And he goes, okay. He says, well, let's see what you got. So he gave me some stuff. We did a couple reads, and then he just sat me down and he was like, listen. And I'm thinking, oh God, what's he going to say? So he goes, I know. He goes, I've heard your music. You know, you got a great voice. You're really, really talented singer. He goes, but I'm telling you, you need to go to LA. And I go, what? And he goes, you need to go to LA. He goes, you are a very talented actress. And he says, I really feel like that's like a natural talent you have. And I was like, really? He's like, yes. And he says, I think you need to go. And the scene that I did, it was, I played a young doctor having to tell a patient that they had cancer. And so I had to show him, you know, the results. And so he taped all of it. And so then, you know, he was like, then switched it on me. And we did another scene where I played like somebody telling me that, you know, my father was dying of cancer. And so, you know, then I started crying and yeah, I just felt all these emotions. And, you know, he was just like, I really feel like you need to go. So I took what he said to heart because I really, you know, I built up a friendship with him after that. And we, you know, he kept telling me, you need to go, you need to go. So at that time, my ex-fiance, my ex-boyfriend at the time, you know, we were living together and he had, you know, a couple of his friends over, they were sitting down and, you know, I knew guys are very honest, especially when they're around other guy friends. So I was kind of like, you know, let's see what they think. So I said, listen, this is what he said. He says, I need to go to LA. I don't know, you know, I think I did a good job, you know, so here, let me put the tape in, see what you think. So put the tape in, they watched it. And I'm really my worst critic. I mean, I really am. I mean, you know, if somebody says something shitty to me, it's like, oh, whatever. It's not anything I haven't said to myself. So I was like, yeah, whatever. You know, I'm my worst critic. So you can't really say anything bad to me. So they looked and they were like, he looked at me and his mouth was open. And I said, oh God, I'm thinking it's terrible. He goes, this is really good. And I went, what? He goes, this is really good. And then his buddy next to him goes, his name was John. He goes, yeah. He's like, yeah, you need to go to LA. And I go, what? And so then it was almost like the universe. His best friend had a business there. He ended up moving to California. Then at that time we visited. And then it's like California, that's how it gets you. You visit and then it draws you in. It's like, you know, so then I got drawn in. We had such a great time. And, you know, next thing I know, it's like we ended up, you know, just visiting. And then, you know, my ex had some business over there that he was doing. And then it's kind of like I started getting gigs there and we kind of like, it was transitioning. I mean, I lived in a hotel for probably a good year and a half when I first moved, you know, was first in California and got to know everybody at the hotel. It was great. But, you know, we ended up driving and we stayed at a hotel for a long time. And I mean, I got a role on a soap and I was getting, you know, bit parts on different shows. And I was just kind of dabbing my feet into it. And, you know, then ended up getting a manager, got an agent, and, you know, the rest is history. It just kind of went like that. But I mean, I did have to hustle, you know, it's, you know, you got to weed people out. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, you can't,
I know.
You know, yeah. I mean, it's not like you just, I will say this, people that say, hey, you know, I got found out at a Starbucks drinking my latte. That's bullshit. They basically, that's their publicist. That's bullshit. Their publicist set that up, you know, to make it look like they didn't pass. You know, they were there for 10 years. I mean, at least Kevin Spacey was at least honest. He said, I couldn't get an audition for 10 years. I couldn't even get a manager. I was like, at least he was honest, you know. The thing that I find is, you know, the nepotism. It's, you know, if somebody's a daughter of somebody famous or a director, you know, they get first shot or they usually, it happens. I've seen it. And, you know, you just keep hitting the pavement and, you know, you just eventually that's how you get found out, you know. And I'm kind of like Vin Diesel in the way of, you know, Vin Diesel had a different look. He had you know, people didn't know what to do with him. So I'm, you know, making my own movies. I've got friends, you know, that I've worked with, you know, A-list friends on television and film, and they're great people to work with. So I know it's like they're going to show up. They're not going to be drunk. They're not going to be on drugs or banging hookers the night before. And they know they're going to be on set. You know what I mean? So I'm basically, right now setting myself up to, kind of be one of the heads of, a studio, of my own studio, to where, people that are up and comers get a fair shot, and they don't have to worry about me Harvey Weinsteining them. It's like, honey, I got, you know what I mean? Women don't have to worry. Men don't have to worry. They come to a set. It's safe. We get down to business. We work. We want to make money. We want to, sell. And the same thing, any actors watching. I mean, it is freaking ridiculous. I mean, I know a lot of people in the business. I pretty much know so many people in the business that it's like, they call me, my mafia name would be the connector. But people tell me stuff all the time. I don't know what it is. My mom says it's a talent, but they tell me their intimate secrets. I could write a book. Maybe I'll do it when I'm on my deathbed, but I don't know. It's just things that I find out is, it's like, if you're going to sit there and you're going to do a film, and you're going to hire people, I cannot believe, if you're going to be on a film, you want that film to be successful. There are actors, known actors that I know. Okay, they get hired to do a film, and they will sit there and they don't post on their social. It's in their contracts, and they don't do it. They don't, and then the producers or directors don't do anything. And I'm like, okay, if that's me, I'd be like, you better do this.
Darcy, I want to say, I mean, first of all, you are the real deal.
Thank you, Richard. I love you.
Well, you too, last night, I mean, you were posting everywhere. I went, oh my God. I mean, no offense to, but
I get what you're saying.
A lot of people don't do that
because they're half-assing it. I tell them, I'm like, no. I said, I do. I spank people on the asses. I told a billionaire he was an idiot, because he was an idiot. He was doing his business wrong. And I'm like, I don't care how much money you have, you can lose it. And, if you're going to be that, people are going to find out. So, I hold myself to a strict ethic. Yeah. And honestly, it might be, Mama, if you're watching, it might be when my mom screwed me over, when I thought we were going to go to Opryland, USA. It's kind of like a Disney World. And I got my backpack on. I got my shoes ready. I was this little kid. She said, yes, I'm going to take you. And, it was drizzling rain and stuff. But, I went in the bedroom and I was all ready. And she goes, we're not going. And I go, what? You promised me we were going. And she goes, it's raining. I'm tired. We're not going. And you got to think, I was all ready to go. I had my backpack. I had my snacks. I'm 8-9.
I've had similar moments, so I know.
It's terrible. You want to go, oh my God, do you have any integrity? After that, I was like, I don't trust my own mother. I'm like, so, that's the thing is, your integrity, what you say. You say, hey, I'm going to do something. I do it, I don't care how small it is, and I'll tell, and I got with team members. I said, hey, I've been out. I said, hey, I'm going to send, I met some people, and I said, you know what, I'm going to send you this. I'm going to send you some Anchorman stuff. I'm also going to send you a little surprise. So I give it to my team members. I said, hey, my assistant, I make sure I get this done. Now, if she forgets it, it's her ass. She's going to pay for it. She's going to go above and beyond, send these people flowers and everything. And I give them my deepest apologies. But normally that doesn't happen, because my team knows there's severe repercussions. I hold a tight ship, and I believe that, if I say I'm going to do something, the only way, unless God, I was in the hospital with COVID, or, I had a family member die or something happened. But I just feel like, there needs to be more accountability in the entertainment industry, the music industry. Bad behavior needs to stop, and we need to start rewarding people with good behavior. People that, I'm so sick and tired of hearing all this crap about, oh, so-and-so cheated on so-and-so. Who gives a crap? Let's hear about the families like, Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, who's been together forever, have a great relationship. You've got, you got all these people that are so, I don't know, that deserve to be seen.
I saw a posting today, and I don't even want to mention the movie. I'll hint at it, so you'll probably know what it is. But it's a remake of a movie. And people are really dissing the movie because it's a remake. and they're
Oh, it's got to be Elvis.
no, it's not that, but they're
No,
attacking.
it's not Elvis.
No, they're attacking the actress who was
Oh,
cast
the
in
actress.
the film, and they're really going after her. And it's gotten it's breaking the internet because of the hate responses that it's getting, and people haven't even seen her in this role. It's horrible that people cannot build each other up. And
Well, too, though, too, I kind of blame, the media for that a little bit, because that's kind of like a hate train right there. And so, there's got to be some journalists that say, hey, this is not right. And, you've got good journalists out there that will be like, hey, this isn't right. This is corrupt. The other thing is too, if you're an actress and you're dealing with that, she needs to go on a show. She needs to talk about it. And say, hey, I'm playing a character. I got hired for a job. So it's like, if you get hired for a job and, the next thing you know, people are like throwing tomatoes at you and this and that, and you're a limo driver and you're like, well, hey, I got paid to drive these people and I did my job. And now people are throwing crap and poo at me and taking my tires and slashing them. That's wrong. I mean,
let me ask you this. Have you ever had a situation in your career where you've had to deal with slings and arrows? And if so, for those who are watching, how did you get through it?
Luckily, I've been on a set that was horrid. I'll tell you, I've been on one set. It was very traumatizing, but instead of working, I will say this, I was very lucky to work on a lot of great sets, but the one thing is that sometimes when you're around people that are on set, that can be also very toxic. So I also think that can lead to bad things, but people that have said stuff, I've actually been pretty lucky. The people that do so, I just block them, or I'll make fun of it. Like there was somebody made a comment of a photo, like, she doesn't look like that. This was how she looked more recently. And it was a 20-year-old photo. It was 20 years ago. Okay. This photo was at a red carpet. I did look kind of homeless. I will say the photo they got of me, you know how it is when it's like you're sweaty. The light was just, oh God, it was a horrible light. It made Pam Anderson on her best day look like shit. I mean, Angelina Jolie in her prime, she would look like a, mangy butt. Yeah. So it's like, I was like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I look like shit. Yeah, duh. But I'm thinking to myself, that wasn't, I mean, I was pretty like, hey, thank you for that compliment. And the guy's like, what? They don't know what to say when you're like, thanks for that. Because I was like, that's 20 years ago. And you still think I look like that. Hey, I'll take it. And what I try to tell people, instead of getting mad, like, I'm kind of like, if Tiffany Haddish, do you know who Tiffany Haddish is?
Oh, yes, I love her.
Okay, so it's kind of like if Tiffany Haddish, Ryan Reynolds, and Dolly Parton got together and had a threesome and a kid, that would be me. I'm kind of like, I'm like all of them together, So, I just kind of, somebody said some stuff. I like, why do people take this shit serious? If somebody says something, just go, yeah, what are they going to do? Or I just, I block them. My manager, sometimes he's like, I mean, in certain situations, poor guy. I mean, I think he's losing his hair because of me, because sometimes he's like, I don't know what's going to come out of her mouth. But what I say is always honest. But, sometimes, yeah, if somebody says something, I'll say something back. But I can also say something very funny, but I always try to do it in a way that's, it's non-demeaning. I'm heavily into technology and, stuff that in Web3 and, dealing with CEOs of huge companies. And, you got these people that, oh God, they always going to say stuff, and they come in and, and somebody came in and, I was doing a guest, a speaking engagement on Twitter Space, which are huge, as they're like AMAs. And, we had somebody come in and everybody's like, oh, you need to get off here. Don't you talk to the crypto queen, Darcy, like that. And I was just like, no, let him talk. And what he said was stupid. It was just like, and I mean, I was nice about it. And I was like, okay, if you're going to say something, I'm backing up with something intelligent. Let's have an intelligent conversation. You know what I mean? That's the thing. But, I always tell somebody, if you got something to say, he was just uneducated about things, and everybody in the space knew it, and they laughed. And I was just like, and the host was like, hey, that was the best comeback I've ever heard anybody ever say to somebody that's negative like that. But I'm like, I let him talk, just let it's, and have a conversation. It doesn't need to be like, I mean, I see what some of the other people get, the hate they get, but I'm just like, unblock them, just hire somebody. I mean, if you're, okay, let me give an example. The Kardashians, let's say, I was Kim Kardashian. I said something, a bunch of hate mail or whatever. I mean, I'd be reaching up to hire somebody. I'd be just go, see all these negative, just delete, block, 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 block. You know what I mean? That's all you got to do, and keep doing it. But what I tell my fans is, you want to be my friend. You want to be you want to be on your best behavior, because I give away stuff, and that's to good people. If you're bad, you ain't going to get a diamond ring. You ain't going to get like $100. You ain't going to get some jewelry. You ain't going to get a new mattress. These are things that I've given away, and I only give away if you're a fan and you're a good person, because you're in my community. So that's what I want other people doing. It's like, do things for other people, but don't put up with their crap. Don't put up with, the negativity. You know what I mean? I'm here to start, taking names and making people better. That's my job. So that's what I'm going to do, make the world better. That's what we gotta, that's why I think God put me on here,
I agree. And I am totally in your corner. I want to ask you, I've got some wind down questions as we wind down the show.
Sure.
Before I ask you, get started with those, you wear so many hats, Darcy. Out of all the hats that you wear, and including the beautiful hat you're wearing tonight.
This hat? I thought you were talking about my hat.
Yeah. Out of all the hats that you wear, which is the one that you wear the most comfortably?
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, I'll say this, what I tell people, Richard, do you have kids?
No. Well, I have 4-legged kids.
Okay. How many?
I have a Maltese, and I have 2 cats.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I have 6 fur babies. So they're rescues. So it's kind of like, I love them all. And if somebody told me who's your favorite, if I had twin babies, or, I don't care. I tell people, I'm like, they might as well have come out of my vajayjay. These are my children. I've gotten into if you don't understand about how animals are, then I said, you don't know what you're talking about. Animals are better than people. I'm telling you. So, I couldn't pick my dogs. The same thing with what I do. I love everything I do. And it's like, each thing is my baby. It's my baby that I'm nurturing and giving life to. And I think that's where my work ethic comes in, because, I've got a music career, I wrote a book.
I know.
Yeah,
hold up the book again.
Oh yeah, it's pretty big. And people go, "Oh my God!" One of my best friends.
Where can I get your book?
Oh, you know what? I will send you a book. I will send you a gift. I will send it to you, Richard.
For me?
I will. I will send you a little.
I want your book. I love the title, but I've got a question for you from Danielle.
Sure.
She says, you're the crypto queen. So any crypto advice for entry-level investments?
Yeah. Now I have to say this, Danielle, I am not a financial advisor. It's just, you got to say that with anything, but I will tell you, I've got some great companies that I work with. Anything that I do, I have put my money into it and my mother's money. So I'd rather be in a jail in San Quentin or in some third world country than deal with my mother's wrath if I mess her money up. So I just want to say, anything I do, I'm invested in. So there's I always say too, only put maybe $50, $100. I call it Vegas money. People that have put 30, 40,000 or their savings in there, I don't recommend doing that, because then you're stressed out. But make sure that whatever you do, keep it, hold on to it, because we are only in the 4% of the entire world. So that money, people are billionaires from Bitcoin. With my investments, I would say in the next 3 or 4 years, I'll be a billionaire. So, that's one of my goals is to, help other people reach that potential. And it's so easy to do right now. Richard, you could be worth $100 million. I mean, that's how new this market is. And, I've actually got
it worth that. But
oh, yeah, there you go. You are worth $1 trillion, baby. You tell your husband I said you are worth $1 trillion.
I will.
Quadrillion. Okay. But my faves are Grove Token is really great. SAFU is one I'm heavily invested in. SAFUU. Grove Token is an amazing company. Everything that they do, with solar panels, solar energy, hydroponics, aeroponics, everything. Income Island, I'm a co-owner of. It's a metaverse that we've got some huge deals that we're working with. And I'm also the CMO of Ecoin Finance. So those are companies that, if you put $50 in each or $100, you're doing good. You're doing really good. If you want to put in more, great, because there's big things in the works. So very big things. There's also, there's a Glow Token community. I tell anybody, go onto my Twitter, which is at Darcy Donavan. That is where a lot of the crypto communities are. There's A-list actors that I'm working with, huge producers in the music industry, huge artists. Snoop's heavily involved in things. I mean, everybody knows about the Bored Yacht Apes. So I will say this, it's definitely a time to get in now. Now is the time.
How did you get into this arena?
Well, it was actually my best friend's boyfriend. He basically this was when it was brand spanking new. Like it's kind of like, Richard, if you found out about the cell phone and you're like, what is that? What is that brick thing that you're talking into? So, he made some money. He invested into what it was called 5 years ago. It was called Solano. And then he did, Cardano, I'm sorry. He invested into Cardano. And then from there, he made some money. And I was like, how did he make $350 with only like a $20 investment? And so then I started doing some research. I got into Tron, and from Tron, I made a lot of money. And then I was like, okay, let me look deeper. And there was a television show about crypto. And that's why people don't realize television shows and movies can be a turning point for somebody when they watch it. But I watched a show, it was on Netflix, and it just like the light bulb went off because it was investors, and they were doing a startup company for crypto. And I was just like, oh my God. And I started to deep dive into it. I had a business partner at the time. We started looking into stuff, and I said, this is the future. This is the future. Because I told everybody, I said, this cell phone thing, it's going to be huge. And I said, people are going to start using it as a computer. And they did. And, there were things, investments I could have made over the years, and I could be a multi-billionaire, and I didn't do it at the time. I've invested in real estate, made really good money. So I was just like, you know what? This is the wave of the future. Because if you look back in time, everybody that's listening, credit cards weren't around. Credit cards, the internet was not around. You had to do a dial up and then call somebody on the phone, give them your credit card, and then they would ship it to you. Now you could just type your credit card in, or even have it saved, and then you get your product delivered to you. So it's like back in the olden days, you trade a chicken for a pig, or you trade a pig for a horse, And even these old movies that are huge, like these Westerns, they have people that are in banks, and you can see, how it's progressed over the years. And so this is the next phase, technology wise, that we're on right now. I mean, there's some stuff that's going on, in the press right now that I was just like, oh, there's companies that are screwing themselves, and, the Web3 community is going to come in and just take over. So, it's kind of like if we were on the bottom of Amazon and Google. How much money do you think we'd be worth now, Richard?
I have no idea.
Do you think we'd be worth billions if we were like invested at the beginning of Amazon when it first started?
Well, of course, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what's so awesome. I mean, it's just like, and I got to tell you, I prayed. I was like, God, I don't have a rich daddy. I don't have, I prayed about it. That's why I know there's miracles, because I was like, God, I need you to be my investor, man. I need to change this entertainment industry, And I'm like, shit, I'm going to have more money than Leonardo DiCaprio, more money than
Absolutely.
Oprah.
And
So
I
I'm
see
like,
it coming. So
yeah,
I'm going
I'm
to
like, I'm going to do this,
So
Richard, you're going to have to be in the movie. What do you want to do, Richard? We'll have to do something for you. What, you want to be in the movie that I'm going to be doing?
Yeah, of course.
You got to be in it. You got to
Yes.
get your sexy butt in it. I think you'd be amazing. There's actually several parts that you could totally fit into.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm
Okay, I'm writing it down. See, I write everything down. People laugh at me, but
I'm ready.
Okay, well, you're going to be in it. You heard it now.
And we'll do it.
Okay. Now, where are you at right now? Where are you?
I'm in New York.
You're in New York. I love it. Well, have you been to LA?
Oh, are you kidding? I love LA.
You love LA? Do you like New York better or LA? Just be honest.
Oh, I mean, the energy is very different with both. I haven't, of course, because of COVID, I have not been in LA for a few years, right. But I love LA. I love Palm Springs. I love Malibu. I used to go to Malibu every year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask you 3 surprise questions. I
haven't
looked at these questions yet. And the first question is...
Oh God, are these your fans asking me these questions?
No, these are they're from 3 cards that I pulled, and I haven't.
Oh my God, are you like pulling them out?
Yes. So I haven't even looked at the card. So are you ready?
Oh Lord, help us.
First one is, what's the most illegal thing that you've ever done?
Oh shit, most illegal thing. Jaywalking, I guess.
Okay, well, good.
I mean, I don't know, streaked. I don't know. I mean, me and a friend, I had to do a dare and had to streak at the ocean, but that was late at night. I don't know if that really counts as illegal. I'm sure the cops would be like, hey, it's okay.
Oh, that's fun.
So,
it's always fun. So I do a show on Sunday nights called the Let That Go Show. So with Kassira McKee, many people who are here watch it. And this is a question. It says, what is the one thing that you just can't let go of?
The one thing that I can't let go of. Wow. You're going to laugh. Bags.
Oh, really?
I've got a million bags. People are like, you don't need to bring it. I'm like, I can't. I have to bring this. And I've literally had people, when I go to Vegas, they're like, oh, are you moving here? I'm like, no, I'm staying for, the week. And they're like, what? And you're bringing all this, or I've had where I'm 2 days. My neighbors thought I was moving. And I'm like, no, I'm going to Vegas for like 4 days. They're like, oh, okay.
And this is a 2-parter. What is the one thing that you would have to do to release those bags?
To release those bags? Oh, hell no. I don't know. I don't think I could do it. I mean, they'd have to drop me off an island. I don't know. That somebody literally would have to handcuff me, push me off an island. That'd be a reality show, or kill me. It'd probably kill me. I don't know. But I don't want to go anywhere and, not be prepared. So see, Richard, if you were here, your husband I know he's taken care of, because wherever we would go, let's say there was an earthquake, I would have a bag that would have, I have literally like a snake bite kit. I have a medicine kit. I have any kind of cold medicine you think of if you get sick, like for allergies. I have all kinds of homeopathic stuff. I would have water. I have some caffeine. I would have snacks. I would have antiseptic hand sanitizers. I have toilet paper in there, napkins, extra pair of shoes if we needed. Oh, some extra clothes and a towel. Okay, I could go on, but you get the drift. I get
the drift. That's great. Now, this question is called Monday Lunch, and I'm going to explain it to you. It says, never ask anyone for anything on a Monday or right before lunch. This is how it works. Research shows that people are most stressed out and least open to new ideas at these times and less likely to say yes. So the thing is that I'm just going to put it out there. At some point, I'm going to take you to lunch.
Oh, I would love that.
Where's your favorite place to go for lunch?
Oh, anywhere there's good food. I'm not
Okay,
picky.
we're gonna make it happen. So
I'm
don't go
not picky
anywhere.
at all. I mean, I love food. I do. I love it. I love burgers. I love cheeseburgers. I love pizza. I love Japanese food, sushi. I love steaks. I mean, you know what I mean? I love it all.
Well, we're gonna give away your CD right now, and our winner
Awesome.
is Pam Stubbs. She wins a lot. But Pam, I'm going to send you the CD. It's my gift for tuning in tonight. So thank you. I'm going to say a few closing remarks, Darcy. I have loved every single moment of tonight. I hope anytime you feel that you have something to say, you have a platform on this show. And
Well, bless you, Richard. And I want to send you and your husband, I want to send y'all some Southern hospitality stuff. And I'm going to send you my book. And just for being so sweet. So
thank you. So don't go anywhere for a moment. I want to thank everyone for being here. It's very obvious from this show tonight that Darcy exudes integrity. And we all can exude integrity with everything that we do and say every single day. I was reading an article the other day about how we start our days. And it really starts from the moment that you put your feet on the floor each morning when you step out of bed. From the moment you look in the mirror, how you greet the people that you talk to each day, stepping out the door, everything. And the big thing that takes our integrity away from us is this box right here, social media. We get distracted by what we see other people do. Sometimes it makes us feel jealous. It makes us feel like less than. It disempowers us. It does so many things to us. But the truth of the matter is, it only happens if we allow it to. Amen. So this is what I say to all of you who are watching tonight. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. When you see a post, everybody wants to be acknowledged. So what you do when you see a post, you either like, you comment, and you share. If it enlightens others, if it tears anyone down, or if it's not positive, and you know what those posts are, delete it, block it, stop it in its tracks. I thank all of you for being here tonight. If this is your first time here, I hope it will not be your last. I hope that you will consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment on the YouTube channel after tonight's show. Let us know what you think about tonight's show. Share this with your friends. All the advertising in the world. And as I said, I've got some great sponsors this week. Deborah Stone, once again, I signal you out. Thank you for being a sponsor this week. But word of mouth is the best advertising in the world. Let other people know all about Darcy and the work she's doing and the work that I'm doing as well. Go out and tell at least 2 or 3 people tonight. Leave a comment, tell others. And then after tonight's show, pick up the phone and call a friend. Let them know what you think about them. After tonight's show, go to your Facebook friends list and reach out to the second name that pops up and reach out with that phone call. Not an email message, not a text message, not a private inbox message, but a phone call. And let that person know what they mean to you. As my dear friend Sean Moniger says, we're all in this together, but we're not in the same boat. And you never know what someone else is going through right now. And I always say, if you're going to go out in a boat, make sure you bring a skipper along. But I can also add, if you bring Darcy along, she's going to bring the right bags along too. So, Darcy, I'm going to leave the screen and I'm going to give you the final word. Anything you want to say about anything that we talked about tonight, anything we didn't talk about that you wish we had, or just any final message that you want to leave everyone with tonight. Don't worry about how to end the show. As soon as you say goodbye, the final credits will roll. Thank you. And
well, Richard, I gotta say I love you to death. You are just a bright energy. You are just amazing. And I hope that, your continued success just keeps going on and on. I think you are a class act. and you're so talented, and you're such a great host. So cheers. I want to raise my glass. Cheers to you, my Wonder Woman glass that my sister got me. So cheers to Richard.
And it's all yours. You've got the final word.
Well, I just want to say that, if you want to find me on Twitter, Instagram, I'm at Darcy Donavan. My Facebook and YouTube, official Darcy Donavan. Come up on there. I got official, on my official sites, you'll always see a check mark. Anything else, they're a copy. So we do giveaways, we do inspiration. I always like to say be classy, sassy, and a little bit badassy. And we always have fun. I want to say Anchorman, it was on Netflix, one of the most notable films that got to #1. It is on Netflix. So watch it if you haven't seen it. It's hilarious. Also, too, I am going to be speaking at Unified DeFi convention in Orlando, Florida, October the 7th and 8th. It's going to be held by Tango Crypto. So if you want to meet me in person, I'm going to be giving out some giveaways from Bleaky.com and myself. So again, Orlando, October 7th and 8th. I'm very excited about that. There are some other things I'm going to be doing in Florida, and there's going to be the NFT 3 awards that's going to be coming, a music festival event in Los Angeles at the Biltmore Hotel. So let you know if you're on my social media. I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to Richard's show and to meet me for the first time if you don't know who I am or haven't met me. But I just always feel like, there's no luggage racks in a hearse. Always be kind, be loving, inspire people, and just know that, our time on this earth is limited. So live every day as it's your last, because you never know when it can be. So I always try to go and be above and beyond for my family, my friends, and especially my fans, because my fans to me are my family. So thank you so much for having me on the show, Richard. Thank you for all the viewers, and thank you for the great questions. And I hope to see you on my social media outlets, and love you bunches. Have a great day, everybody. And hope to see you soon. Bye.